the Chase Thomas Podcast, for people who have nothing but time to kill.
No, as you said, putting that expectation on one guy to be that guy is tough, because I don't know. I don't know the conversations between Rick Barnes and Dalton Knecht, and if he was just like, I need you to be this guy. But like, likeliness of that happening, probably not.
Final one here tonight, sir. This is, I think, the football fans who, look, we got a little bit. We still got 2 months before we're
under 100 days away, though.
We're getting closer. Hot or not, final one here tonight, sir. One of Tennessee's wide receivers will have a superstar season this fall. Hot or not?
I will say there is potential for it to happen. I ultimately do not think it will happen. I think that if there is a guy proven by position in Josh Heupel's system to really pop off with an accurate quarterback, as we saw with Hendon Hooker, to a guy like Jalen Hyatt, we're looking at the slot position. A guy like Squirrel White could potentially really pop off and play really well. Brew McCoy, there's going to be questions. Nico didn't really get to work that much with Brew because of his injury that he sustained in South Carolina. And obviously, it's an injury that you're going to have to come back from, and it's a tough injury to come back from. Obviously, it looks like Brew's making great success based off of what he's posted off his Instagram, and that's fantastic. We love to see it for him. But is that chemistry going to be there? What kind of limitations is Brew going to have in the fall? Obviously, he didn't really do major participation in the spring, so that's a question. How good is Dante Thornton going to be this year? Question. Chris Brazzell could be a guy. I mean, he was really good last year, and that could be something that, really works out and goes forward. But if I had to guess, I mean, like Squirrel, he got a decent amount of targets in that Citrus Bowl game in which Nico actually did start. I think he had 3 receptions for 38 or 39 yards or something like that. But I think, there's potential for that duo to work out pretty well. Nico's obviously an accurate passer, but this is going to be pretty much his freshman year. I mean, this is the first time he's really going to see playing time. Playing Iowa in a Citrus Bowl is great, but the attendance wasn't. And, it's not like a super hostile environment or stuff. So, like, Nico's also going to have to go through his own path of figuring stuff out. And, obviously that affects wide receiver production because that's the guy throwing you the ball. So there are going to be some question marks. Tennessee, I imagine, is going to be a pretty good team that gets 9 wins, probably 8 or 9 wins, depending on how the season goes. And then you kind of figure it out from there. Are you going to get superstar production from a guy? I think there's questions that are going to kind of have to be answered, but if I had to pick a guy that I think that could probably do it based off of what I've seen out of Josh Heupel's system and what could potentially happen, I'm going to go with Squirrel White.
I like Squirrel. I don't think it's Squirrel. And I do think somebody breaks out. I think we're all scared to, because you saw last year in Ramel, like that one will be a mystery to me forever. What happened to Ramel Keaton last year? Brew obviously going down didn't help, but you talk about the slot, and that is just a bread and butter position. Squirrel led obviously Tennessee in catches last year. I think he'll lead them again this year. I think it's Dante. I'm a big believer in the year 2 jump now, and Heupel's scheme and getting more comfortable. I think he was coming on the outside. I mean, he had that big touchdown catch against Mizzou. I think his size, his speed on the outside, Nico is going to hit him on some big vertical plays this year. And I think it's going to be like that Jalen Waddle type bump for him. I think he's going to have, there's a reason Nico's in the top 5 in preseason Heisman odds. And if Nico is who we think he can be, and I understand it's still year 2, like you said, he's still basically a freshman coming in here. I think if Nico has that kind of success, anywhere close to it, one of these receivers is going to have a huge year. Like, the offense just allows for one of these receivers. So I think fans are like nervous to like pinpoint who it is. But for me, someone's going to do it. Someone's going to we're going to look at the numbers and be like, wait, he has how many yards and how many touchdowns? How much is he averaging per reception here? And to me, I think it's Dante. Like, I think Thornton has just been kind of forgotten about, but I think he just, to me, screams the most Heupel receiver type guy to just give defenses fits in year 2 in this game. I think he's a lot more comfortable. I think he's a lot more confident going into year 2. I can't buy enough Dante Thornton stock, but I also think Squirrel White's just going to be as consistent as he was 2 years ago or the last year, and he's going to be fine. Like, I think Squirrel's good. I just don't think Squirrel has like A+ potential. I think he's just a solid B+, A-, which is fine. But I think the guy who has the most potential to pop is is Dante. I think that's still my prediction. If Nico's great, Dante's great.
I'd agree with you. No, I think potential-wise, I think Dante Thornton has a ton of upside. I mean, looking into last year, a lot of people thought he was going to pop off because, he's getting comparisons of a mixture of a Cedric Tillman and Jalen Hyatt type guy, like the guy with the speed, but also the size. And if he can match that up, play to his potential, like we all remember that Missouri catch. Unfortunately, he got injured on the play, and that was the end of his season. But he was an incredible touchdown catch that he got from Joe in that game that, gave Vol fans hope early in that game on the road before it turned out being into the blowout that it was, that he could be somebody who could really produce. And I think he obviously has the potential. He's a freak athlete. Like, that's just undebatable how freak of an athlete that guy is. I think he could be, but as you said, he's got to take the jump. He's got to take the steps. And that's a question. It's kind of like, we think he can. Will he do it? The one proven commodity, as you kind of mentioned, has been Squirrel. And so is that going to be like a reliant point for the Vols offense, or what happens? I don't know. I think for me, it's a bigger question. I always get skeptical of preseason Heisman odds and stuff like that. I mean, Remember last year, like people were like, Joe Milton could be a dark horse Heisman candidate. And it's, he could have been. He has obviously, once again, the potential.
Nicely done, nephew. The Chase Thomas podcast. Hell yeah.